Hey YNR fans! Waving hand, welcome to YNR Trends, your go-to spot for the juiciest Young and the Restless updates, shocking spoilers, and all the drama you can't stop talking about. From surprise returns to scandalous twists, we break it all down for you, every day. So grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right into Genoa City's hottest gossip. According to Friday, August 15th, spoilers for The Young and the Restless, YNR, Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, pushes Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, too far, and Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, will have to deal with a stunner from Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow. Nick will join Sharon at Crimson Lights and might even confess to being Victor Newman's, Eric Braeden, recruit. Victor wants Nick to be friends with Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, and persuade him that the Newmans consider him a formidable opponent. Nick still hates Kane, of course, but he'll put up a front to keep his family safe. Sharon could be a little surprised by the anticipated result, as the intention is to divert Kane's attention from Chancellor and assist him in pursuing Jabot instead. Sharon won't be happy about his family business being targeted because Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, is a fine man and a friend. Sharon could feel a little uneasy about Nick's willingness to sacrifice the Abbotts for the Newmans. According to YNR spoilers, Sharon will see a surprise side of Nick, so after she learns about his most recent news, she might not agree. Chelsea will continue to protect Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, therefore Adam won't be pleased with her actions either. Adam will become irritated and lash out when Chelsea pushes him too hard. Adam would believe Chelsea should quit acting like Billy is some innocent party and truly embrace Team Newman. But things get difficult when it comes to Billy, who, if everything goes according to plan, plans to be an insider and shield Jabot from Kane. It is inevitable that Kane and Billy will be mentioned when Adam and Chelsea encounter Nick and Sharon at the coffee shop. Lastly, Kane will promise Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, that she will wait for his response about the offer she is putting up. In exchange for Kane telling her the complete truth about his return to Genoa City, Lily is willing to assist in telling the twins about his secret existence. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Kane will try to gain Lily's trust by making a strong vow, even if he doesn't make a complete confession right away. Before he finally plucked up the courage to enter Crimson Lights, Nick had been pacing outside for a solid 10 minutes. As he reached for the handle, the late afternoon sun glinted off the glass door, but he was nearly stopped by the sight of his reflection. He didn't want to have this conversation, but he was forced to have it. Sharon had been avoiding his calls, responding to his texts with a single word, and appearing preoccupied whenever they talked. He was aware of the problem. Additionally, he had a gut feeling that whatever it was, it would completely alter their relationship. When he eventually entered, the smell of cinnamon buns and coffee beans enveloped him like a comforting blanket. Sharon was normally behind the counter, but she wasn't there. With a half-empty mug in front of her and her eyes fixed on her hands as if they were concealing some horrible secret, she sat at a corner table. He approached slowly, his steps getting heavier as he went. She didn't raise her head until he called her name, and when she did, a glimmer of shame appeared in her eyes, which she quickly covered up with the cool, collected demeanor she had mastered over the years. Nick leaned forward on his elbows and slid into the seat across from her. His voice was firm yet low as he stated, "We need to talk." Sharon nodded, inhaled deeply, and then looked him in the eye. Her next words struck him like a blow to the chest. She acknowledged that she had been meeting with someone behind his back, not just that she had been hiding something from him. Not just anybody, anyway. Someone Nick never imagined she would voluntarily reintegrate into her life. Like a live grenade, the name fell between them. He was unable to speak for a long time. His thoughts were racing, going over every recent exchange they had in an attempt to spot any clues he could have missed. Nick could hardly hear Sharon over the thumping in his ears as she attempted to explain why she hadn't approached him sooner. Chelsea, meanwhile, was standing in the center of Adam's apartment across town, her jaw clenched so firmly it hurt, her arms folded across her breast. For weeks, she had been keeping her mouth shut in an effort to allow Adam the freedom to make his own decisions and see things her way without her interfering too much. However, she lacked patience, particularly with Adam, when it came to him. She was able to see the warning signs again because she had previously witnessed him spiral and sabotage himself. The late evenings. The vague responses. His rage was simmering beneath the surface, ready to erupt at the first sign of trouble. She was at her breaking point today. Without any filters or holding back, she had come here to tell him exactly what she thought. And it was like setting off a fire when she witnessed his nonchalant dismissal of her worries. As she accused him of being careless and of tinkering with fire in ways that could endanger not just his life but also hers, her voice raised. Adam's face stiffened, his eyes glinting with the sharp edge of his rage. He disliked having his actions dictated to him. He disliked being blamed, particularly by Chelsea. Her words, however, simply served to drive him deeper into the tempest rather than to soothe it. In that sharp, frigid voice he was so good at, he told her that he didn't need her approval and that she should keep in mind who she was speaking to. Although it was a barely concealed threat that caused Chelsea's heart to race, she chose to move closer rather than retreat. He was mistaken if he believed she would be intimidated. She made it clear to him that he would lose more than just her if he continued in this direction. Nick was still attempting to comprehend Sharon's disclosure when he returned to Crimson Lights. She extended her hand across the table and touched his, but he retreated, refusing to take the consolation she was providing. The treachery was too painful. He questioned her about why she believed it was better to deal with it alone and why she didn't trust him enough to tell him sooner. Sharon didn't cry, but her eyes glistened. She claimed that she was attempting to keep him safe and prevent him from becoming involved in potentially hazardous situations. But Nick was only more irate after hearing that explanation. He informed her that he was fed up with being kept in the dark and with her making decisions for him without consulting him. There was a great deal of tension between them, the kind that cannot be eased by an embrace and an apology. However, Chelsea had pushed Adam until his voice was low and threatening, with every syllable brimming with caution. He informed her that she was forgetting who actually held the power in the situation and that she had no right to control his actions. Chelsea knew how to hit the mark, and her lips twisted into a bitter smile. She brought to his attention every error he had committed, every instance in which he had destroyed his own joy, and every bridge he had destroyed. She continued after that. She told him that she had been keeping him together and shielding him from the consequences of his own poor choices. And he had another thing coming if he believed she would continue to act in that manner while he excluded her. Adam's hands balled into fists at his sides, his jaw tensed, and his knuckles whitened. As their fight drew in all the oxygen, the room appeared to contract around them. At last, Sharon got up because she could no longer sit there while Nick's hurt and rage simmered between them. Although she sincerely apologized to him, she said that she still thought she had acted morally. Unable to connect her words with the constriction in his chest, Nick simply shook his head. Something inside of him changed as she left, a chilly distance from which he wasn't sure they could return. A few moments later, he left the coffee shop with his head still spinning, but as luck would have it, he was going to meet paths with Adam in a way that would make an already stressful day even worse. The EastEnders plot Sharon's Nick shocker, Chelsea pushes Adam too far, delves deeply into the complex web of relationships in Walford, including betrayal, deceit, and emotional agony. Fundamentally, this storyline weaves together the lives of Chelsea Fox, Nick Cotton, Sharon Watts, and Adam Bateman, exposing the damaging effects of dishonesty and the extent people will go to in order to safeguard their own interests. Chelsea's constant pressure on Adam reveals the brittleness of trust and the perils of pushing someone over their breaking point, while Sharon's startling bond with Nick sets the stage for the drama. With a life filled with love, sorrow, and treachery, Sharon Watts has long been a major character in EastEnders. Her complicated past is further complicated by her affiliation with Nick Cotton, one of the most infamous antagonists on the program. Nick, Cotton's cunning and frequently criminal son, was a figure who was always a sign of trouble. Explosive drama is triggered by his relationship with Sharon, whether it is through current tensions or secrets from the past. Both the protagonists and the audience are shocked by this connection's discovery, which forces Sharon to face long-forgotten facts about her history. Since Sharon has spent years attempting to disassociate herself from the darker aspects of Walford's past, this finding carries a great deal of emotional weight. Nick left behind a destructive legacy, and his effect endures in the lives of everybody he touched, even after his death. As she fights Adam Bateman in a high-stakes psychological struggle, Chelsea Fox's plot also interacts with this drama. Despite her reputation for brains and fortitude, Chelsea is no stranger to manipulation. She adopts a more combative stance in the storyline, though, and drives Adam, a guy with his own insecurities and secrets, to the brink. Chelsea and Adam have a tense relationship since they are both skilled mind game players. Chelsea's actions blur the boundary between justice and cruelty, even when her objectives may be self-preservation or retaliation. Adam, however, is not a helpless victim. Chelsea's constant pressure has turned him into a target because of his previous deeds, and he is forced to choose between fighting back or giving in to the pressure. Manipulation is a recurring theme in this plot. Given her relationship with Nick, it is unclear how much of Sharon's life has been influenced by other people, especially males with harmful intentions. Given Nick's history of dominance and exploitation, Sharon's surprise at being bound to him raises the possibility that she was not fully aware of how much of an influence he had on her life. Her character becomes more emotionally complicated as a result of this revelation, which compels her to reconsider her previous choices and connections. Similar to this, Chelsea's manipulation of Adam demonstrates how Walford's power dynamics change over time. Those in charge can easily become the ones being influenced. Adam, who might have been in control in some circumstances before, is outwitted by Chelsea's shrewdness. Another crucial element of this story is the psychological toll these characters have suffered. Even after years of apparent stability, prior traumas can re-emerge to a profound degree, as Sharon's shock and ensuing inner anguish show. Chelsea may believe that her actions against Adam are legitimate, but her own moral compass may suffer as a result of her unrelenting pursuit. Pushing someone too far has long-term effects on both the victim and the offender in addition to the immediate repercussions. Adam's breaking point can result in extreme measures, such as self-destruction, retaliation, or the total breakdown of his well-crafted facade. This arc's narrative also offers a critique of EastEnders' use of lies and secrets. Dramatic revelations and the consequences of unspoken truths have always been the show's strong points. Another illustration of how the past never really dies in Walford is Sharon's connection to Nick. Chelsea's schemes against Adam serve as more evidence that betrayal is a constant threat in this culture and that trust is a delicate commodity. In addition to direct confrontations, the tension is increased by lingering looks, whispered exchanges, and the implicit knowledge that everyone has something to conceal. To sum up, Sharon's Nick shocker, Chelsea Pushes Adam Too Far is a masterwork of soap opera drama that skillfully combines themes of psychological warfare, deception, and treachery. The characters' relationships are put to the test, their limits are reached, and their actual selves are revealed. Chelsea's constant pressure on Adam highlights the perilous game of power and retaliation, while Sharon's relationship with Nick adds a startling twist to her already turbulent existence. This plot's emotional depth guarantees that the effects will be felt long after the initial shockwaves pass, leaving viewers to wonder how far these characters will go and who will survive the fallout. Rich, symbolic language may be used stylistically in the plot, with the bridal gowns serving as recurrent imagery whose significance changes with each appearance. In a twist that rewrites the story, the twin might possibly exist as a figment of Lily's imagination in addition to being a character and metaphor. The gowns, the twin, and the truth all come together in a crucial juncture where Kane's discoveries may be given, making Lily face the consequences of her decisions. To sum up, 3 wedding dresses, Lily exchanges twin assistants for Kane's whole truth is a metaphorically rich and emotionally nuanced story. The novel examines issues of identity, sacrifice, and the frequently difficult path towards self-awareness through the symbolic wedding gowns, the selfless exchange of the twins' assistants, and the elusive nature of Cain's truth. The novel offers a moving analysis of the price we pay for knowledge, regardless of whether Lily's search for the truth results in freedom or destruction.